drink. My index finger is cramping, bro. Bro, my pointer finger hurts. What a shame. Get the fucking thing, go down, okay. Jesus Christ. Why don't I hear the coins? For real, was the sound effects? Almost.
viewers, welcome back to Hightail Spins. I know it's been a while since our last video, but today...
That money to grab yourself some Freddy Fazbear absolutely crushed the competition in movie theaters a month ago. But you know what else he crushed? His real-life counterpart, Chuck E. Cheese. 1 week after the FNAF movie took a big old bite of 87 out of box offices, the popular restaurant chain Chuck E. Cheese made a massive announcement. They would be removing the animatronic entertainers from practically all of their 500-plus restaurant locations. They claim that it's an effort to update their look by modernizing the restaurant with new light-up dance floors. Because, you know, nothing says cool modern eatery like a disco floor ripped straight out of the 70s. Anyway, the timing for this huge shift away from animatronics felt too much like a coincidence to be a coincidence for the internet, prompting everyone to start making the claim that Five Nights at Freddy's killed Chuck E. Cheese.
No
the
way!
family-friendly restaurant didn't want to be confused with a place where scary murder animatronics could come out and grab you. But is that really true? Is Charles Entertainment Cheese yet another bloody, brutalized victim of Freddy and the gang? Or is there some other mysterious killer lurking in the shadows? Loyal theorists, it's time we investigate. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, where an adult in his 30s can be a kid. While you're here, I'd our ticket total by Steamall and that subscribe button. If you manage to do it, it'll even light up like you hit the jackpot, because you will have a jackpot full of amazing food, lore, and science-related content. Heck, you don't even need to trade in a wheelbarrow full of tickets to get it. So when it comes to the case of FNAF versus Charles Entertainment Cheese, there's a lot of assumptions floating around that this is an open and shut case. The belief is that Freddy's murderous brand has tainted the world of animatronic entertainment so much that Chuck E. Cheese is afraid it'll scare families away if it keeps the robots around. I mean, the irony of that is pretty hilarious when you consider that it was their creepy, outdated animatronics that inspired FNAF in the first place. But regardless, it seems like Chuck, Pasquale, Munch, and Helen are now on their farewell tour before they permanently get retired to a suburban strip mall over in Northridge, California. So today, then, we're facing the mystery. Who killed Chuck E. Cheese? Primary suspect number one is obviously Freddy and the mascot horror genre that he represents, but is there any truth to this theory? Can we really blame FNAF for this sort of corporate shakeup? It's not like the CEO of CEC woke up to the box office numbers one morning and said, shut it all down. These sorts of decisions take a lot of time. There are a lot of people who have to weigh in on a decision like this because there's a lot of financial ramification here. But if it's not Freddy, then who or what else could it be? Are all arcades just going down the drain? Was this a self-inflicted wound by Chucky himself looking to be put out of his misery? Or is there something more nefarious in play? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to explore the economics of entertainment, which, I promise, is going to be a lot easier to understand. Now, I've talked about the Chuck E. Cheese franchise a few times already on this channel, but before I dive into the downfall of the rap, let's just make sure that we're all aware of the broad strokes of the company's evolution. Hey, you're dealing with a brand that's been around for 46 years, there's bound to be some drama. Trust me, it's going to be important later on. As you probably already know, Chuck E. Cheese was started by the co-founder of Atari, Nolan Bushnell. What you may not know is that Nolan was a bit of a robotics nerd who once dreamed of working as a Disney Imagineer. But when his application to the program got repeatedly rejected, he decided to create his own Disney. Impressed by attractions like the Enchanted Tiki Room and the Country Bear Jamboree, Bushnell saw potential in animatronic shows that could be taken out of the theme parks and used for entertainment during meals. The idea was a smash hit, but soon a new challenger entered the market, Showbiz Pizza, a rival restaurant with far better animatronics. This then led to an arms race. Not only were these chains opening up competing restaurants right next to each other, but they were creating an onslaught of mascots by throwing random ingredients at the wall to see what's good and stuff. That's how we wound up with characters that are literally singing pops and busty hippo women. Hold on, hippo and pop animatronics? Again, I point out how Chuck E. Cheese should really be doing some introspection if they think FNAF is the thing that's having a bad one. Anyway, the two companies were eventually forced to merge due to declining sales. From there, the brand never really stopped adapting. Over the past 30 years, Charles and the gang have progressively gotten younger. What started as a cigar-smoking rat became a slick skateboarding teen in the late 90s, then in the 2010s it was changed again. This was officially called Glam Rock Chuck E. Sorry, needless to say, was officially called Rockstar Chuck E. Rockstar Chuck E. Cheese. All this is to say that Chuck E., the OG pizza rat, is constantly being forced to adapt in order to survive. It's just that this time is the biggest change the company's ever experienced before, with Freddy killing off the competition permanently. Or at least that's what online theorists would like you to believe. See, the thing that most people miss when they were reading the headlines here is that the restaurant's been trying to kill off Chuck E. for years. This isn't the first time they tried to do a move like this. All the way back in 2017, the franchise made the exact same.
Oh my god.
Announcement, the retirement of the band. But due to the public backlash, they decided to push the decision out by a couple of years. This isn't a story about scary animatronics killing off a brand, it's about a brand killing itself off. Let me explain. I don't think it'll come as a big surprise to hear that Chuck E. Cheese was hit hard by the pandemic. Without kids to come in and rub their snotty hands across those arcade games, there was no money to go around. It's not like people were coming in for pizza after all. It got so bad that in 2020, Chuck E. Cheese filed for bankruptcy with over $2 billion in debt. But they were far from alone. Dave & Buster's sales fell by 70%. And as of 2023, the Rainforest Cafe has shut down 37 of their 60 original locations. Suspect to reignite interest into the brand in the aftermath of Eddie Burback attendance to Monster Truck Odyssey. And while they all saw a bit of an upswing post-pandemic, they're now back on the slide. In short, entertainment as an industry is in decline. What do I mean by that? Well, entertainment is the class of business that fuses together, as the name would imply, dining and entertainment. In entertainment venues, the focus isn't just about providing food, but also offering you a fun environment. I'm talking about Topgolfs, your Boleros, your Benihanas, your Hard Rock Cafes, and your Medieval Times. And across the board, they're all on the decline right now. Topgolf down 30%, Bolero down 56%. Even more generalist places like Main Event, they've suffered recently. Despite Main Event having it all, laser tag, bowling, mini golf, escape rooms, virtual reality experiences, basically this place is the security breach pizzaplex. Their sales have also started to go down. And yet, while everything else is in decline, there is one pocket of entertainment that's seen a massive uptick in recent years. Arcades. While Chuck, Dave, and Buster all scrambled to modernize the arcade industry with its old school pinball machines and Galaga cabinets, has surged past $1 billion in annual revenue. Now, know what you might be thinking? There is a stark difference between Chuck E. Cheese and a regular arcade. One's for kids, and the other is for grown-up kids. But actually, since 2015, Chuck E. Cheese has been trying to appeal to the taste buds of parents by extending the menu's palette beyond just cheese and pepperoni, by introducing beer and wine to help drown out the war cries of amped-up kids. It's not a bad strategy, luring in exhausted parents with the promise of responsible inebriation. The kids spend hundreds of dollars on prizes they could have bought from Amazon at a fraction of the price. So if the difference here isn't alcohol, what is it? How can barcades thrive while Dave & Buster's, literally the mega-sized version of a barcade, flounders? Well, in the end, it all seems to be an issue of brand, knowing who you're targeting as a consumer. Arcades get it, the rest of entertainment doesn't. Look back at the jokes that I've been making throughout this episode, poking fun of the bad pizza, the janky animatronics, the dirty arcade games, the overpriced prizes. They're all jokes that have been made at the expense of Chuck E. Cheese for decades now. The restaurant sits in this nebulous place where it's trying to appeal to everyone, but by doing that, they're failing to appeal to anyone. Kids don't care about interactive dance floors or games that are inferior to the ones that they can just play on their phones for free, and adults don't want to have to deal with screaming kids around them while they're trying to have a beer and set a new high score after work. And no one is going there for the pizza, regardless of whether it's recycled or not. Dave & Buster's, it's the exact same story. If I'm a dad and I want to watch a football game at a sports bar, I don't want to be interrupted by the sound of an air hockey table or Whack-A-Minion. Just look at the way that its name's listed on the internet. Dave & Buster's, arcade, sports bar, restaurants, it's all too much. Meanwhile, places like Rainforest Cafe, Benihana, Hard Rock Cafe, it's all novelty. You go there once or maybe twice to experience it, but the food just isn't strong enough to pull you back. It's overpriced for what it is, and the entertainment value is just kind of, it's interesting, I guess. There's just nothing there to make you want to go back on a regular basis. Now look at arcades. They're not trying to appeal to kids and adults. They are adult-focused experiences through and through. Heck, in most of them, kids aren't even allowed through the door. They offer a casual social environment without being forced to pay $50 for a few rounds of bowling on the side. But arcades also have another secret weapon, and that's the fact that they are, in fact, bars. You see, there's a generalization of the restaurant industry that says bars are recession-proof. People run to celebrate good times with alcohol, but studies have shown that alcohol consumption also goes up during economic times as people try to cope with their stressors. And right now, with the world economy in turmoil, people are being more selective with what they're spending their money on. Consider this. Let's say I'm a parent and I have the option of spending $50 entertaining my kids. I could do that at Chuck E. Cheese. It would be about 90 minutes with lackluster animatronics, greasy pizza, and Jeremy games, or I could spend that exact same money on a video game. A video game that can keep it quietly played in the corner of the room for years. The choice here is very clear. Speaking of other high-quality things that you can spend your money on that'll last for years, we have a brand new collection of apparel on sale right now over at theorywear.com. Instead of wasting $50 trying to play giant Flappy Bird, use that money to grab yourself some high-quality winter wear that'll be a staple of your wardrobe for years. On these channels, we're not just making merch anymore, we're making pieces of clothing something that are so unique and so well made, you're never gonna find stuff like this in your local store. Case in point, this cozy hibernation sweater, which is oversized and makes you feel like you're protected in a stylish warm blanket anywhere you go. It even has our signature thumb holes for making you feel secure during all those awkward holiday interactions. And here's the beauty of the piece. If you size it up, boom, it can also be worn as a sweater dress. So really, you can style it any way you want. The entire collection is called Northern Lights because it was inspired by the beautiful colors of the Aurora Borealis lighting up the winter sky at night. And you can see that in pieces like the Aurora Blazer or the carry-on luggage. Bright, vibrant colors that pop during the cold, dark winter months. But if you're in the mood for something that's a bit more toned down, there's also
Holy shit, bro, just make it.
Recycled polyester shirt bomb. And no, not 100% recycled animatronic. The thing is so soft and so warm that I now have turned off the heat in my entire house so I have an extra excuse to wear it around. My utility bill's happy, and so am I. And if none of that's your speed, the collection isn't just a bunch of sweaters and jackets. We also have gloves and even snow pants. So if you're still looking for a last-minute gift or a thing to spend all that new Christmas money on, Northern Lights by Theorywear is a great snuggly option. Links are below the video or just in the video thanks to YouTube Shopping. Speaking of shopping, there's yet another thing that's holding Chuck specifically back in the world of entertainment. He's wildly expensive. The business move to roll back the ban makes a lot of sense when you take into consideration the cost and effort it takes to repair Munch's make-believe band. A full setup, the 8-character band cost roughly $90,000 in 1982, and it hasn't gotten cheaper since. The Chuck E. Cheese tech explained in a Reddit AMA that although these animatronic skeletons are fairly simplistic, they're also incredibly expensive to make. He claims that there are 32 special pneumatic cylinders throughout the entire character that allow for the individual joint movements, and 64 separate tools connect them to the pneumatic control board down in the floor. According to another user, it allegedly costs around $50,000 a year of tech maintenance and $10,000 a year for parts just to keep the band jamming. And restaurants aren't alone in trying to shy away from using animatronics as the primary source of entertainment. Even theme parks like Disney and Universal Studios are incorporating more and more digital tech than their previously animatronic-heavy rides, all in an effort to lower the overall cost of maintenance. Back in the day, it was important for theme parks to break uncharted ground to impress audiences, in much the same way that Chuck had to one-up his game against Showbiz Pizza's initially superior animatronics. So that time is long past now. The novelty of robot characters is largely worn off. For example, Universal recently updated the Jurassic Park water ride that's been around since the mid-90s to become the Jurassic World ride. Along with the addition of an Indominus Rex from the reboot, the new ride replaced key moments with videos, injections, digital guidebooks. It's a lot easier to fix a broken TV screen than it is to repair a 1,500-pound animatronic. And it's not just a reimagining of old parts either. New rides are being designed and built to squeeze more creativity out of cheaper cars. For instance, Disney's brand new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway combines simpler animatronics in physical forms with projecting hologram faces on the physical ride characters, thereby resulting in fewer intricate parts that are going to break down and maintenance. So to answer our initial question, what killed off Chuck E. Cheese? Well, it's delivering an unfocused experience that tries to appeal to everyone and satisfies no one, all in a market where cheaper, higher quality options are available. And what's making it worse is that delivering that lackluster experience is also expensive to maintain. It's kind of your worst of all scenarios thing happening there. So then what? Does FNAF not factor into this equation at all? Yes, actually, yes it does. In fact, quite the opposite. I think FNAF may be the single most important factor in this entire discussion, but not for being the one to kill Chuck E. Cheese. Rather, I think it's the thing that'll save Chuck E. Cheese. You see, one thing that research has shown time and again is that young millennials and Gen Zers are spending more money on experiences than they are on material goods. They'd much rather have themselves an awesome trip to Japan than an expensive car. And they'd rather opt for a cool trip to an amusement park instead of something like a nice watch or a pair of shoes. The one thing that they love above all else, horror. Take the FNAF movie as an example here. 81% of the
Oh my god, I jumped so early. Fucking hell. Jesus.
Intrusion detected.
How did that miss? Like, genuinely, how did that miss? God fucking damn it. What run? How good was that? How fucking good was that? Can't fucking see. 1.76 ahead.
Take the FNAF movie as an example here. 81% of the audience that went to see this thing in the theater were between the ages of 13 and 24. But more than just seeing it on screen, audiences have a growing desire to be immersed in that horror. From record-breaking 5-hour wait times at Halloween Horror Nights to the rising number of horror-themed escape rooms and experiential dining, young audiences want to be scared. And I think you can see where all of this is going. FNAF burst onto the scene back in 2015. They immediately eclipsed Chuck E. Cheese's Google search traffic. And the results since then, it hasn't even been close. The only reason Chuck E. Cheese is in the cultural conversation these days is because of this horror game franchise. And the business people over at Chuck E. Cheese know it. Case in point, this past Halloween, Chuck E. Cheese had their own FNAF event, 5 Nights of Fun. Yes, that's more than a FNAF event. Anyway, it was their way of very unofficially capitalizing off the release of the new movie. Just look at the poster for this thing. Looks a bit familiar, doesn't it? Chuck E. Cheese knew exactly what they were doing here, to the point that they even handed employees these cards to help them reflect any comparisons or questions about Freddy Fazbear. Yeah, good for them. They'd be dumb not to be trying to ride those coattails. And Chuck is now actively blocking anyone who calls out their strategy publicly, and that shows their heads are in the wrong place. It shows that they want to have it both ways. They want to keep one foot in the door of spooky, scary animatronics, and one foot out of the door for fear of losing the kiddos and their parents because it's too scary. Except, as we've been talking about this entire episode, it creates a muddled, underconfident, confused brand that serves no one. Don't just unofficially rip off the greatest meal ticket, get out of jail free card you've ever been handed. Lean into it. If younger audiences like horror and want experiences, as the sales data has shown us time and time again, then give them the horror experience they want. Give them a haunted pizzeria experience via an official partnership with the FNAF brand. Take advantage of the existing, barely functioning animatronics you have kicking around to create an experience that appeals to the FNAF audience. Heck, the fact that they're barely working actually adds to the creep factor, which is great for all the maintenance costs. And just like they did 30 years ago when Showbiz Pizza and Chuck E. Cheese merged, the pizza franchise can repurpose their old animatronic parts to create new characters, recreating Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy live on the stage. This is an era where nostalgic mascots reign supreme and are constantly being mixed with horror. Just think about how McDonald's Grimace was able to become one of the biggest trends of the year simply thanks to his killer purple shade. Grimace actually leaned into this mimification of his 52nd birthday, and audiences ate it up. Literally, they ate it up. The trend helped boost McDonald's second quarter sales over 10% in the US and 12% globally. But most importantly of all, people become excited to engage with the food and the characters.
You can tell I'm going insane just by saying
That's
that.
exactly what Chucky needs right now. To evolve one more time. To not be the rad skateboarder or the cool rock star, but instead to be the creepy animatronic shambling through the halls that he always was and was always destined to be. And hey, if you can't manage to get your hands on that FNAF license, you know a similar franchise with a rat that's already lurking around in the shadows. But hey, that's just a theory.
A food theory.
Bon appetit.
Fucking thirsty. Yeah, how bold of me. I've been here like 30 plus times. How bold of me. How fucking bold of me. Oh,
Earlier this year, we tested 25 different energy drinks from Prime to Monster and Ghost to Gatorade, all in an effort to scientifically determine which brand was best. Link is right there at the top of the screen if you want to go watch our analysis and revel in Red Bull getting absolutely dumped on. But looking back, each and every one of our contestants was missing one magical ingredient. The ingredient of gamer. So today, we're rectifying that. We've gathered up another 16 drinks, this time all specifically targeted at gamers that promise to deliver us a boom headshot of energy. So which brand is going to deliver us the most 360 no-scopes and which is going to leave us as the cringiest noobs? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to separate the G-Fuels from the G-Fools. Let's get powered up.
yeah.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, where I'm trading my long-term heart health for your late-night gaming binges. At this point, the video game industry rakes in hundreds of billions of dollars in cash a year.
Hey guys, it's just
You fucking retard, oh my god. Great, I have to do all of that all over again. What a fucking waste of time.
To try to capitalize off of that sweet, sweet streamer life. Of course, you got your fancy RGB keyboards, your cat ear headphones, and your waifu gaming sleeves. But if you're gonna game right, you've also got to fuel up right. Sure, there's always the classics like Mountain Dew and Doritos, but the market's evolved. The whole scene, which was at one point dominated by the likes of Red Bull and Monster, has grown to become much more
Please skip this, like, please. For God, please.
Like I said, sophisticated. But in all seriousness, as more
Thank
money
you.
and attention's been brought to the scene, especially with the huge surge in popularity around professional esports, there's also been a rise in companies looking to make a name for themselves as the go-to beverage brand for gamers. Sometimes that push produces something good, and sometimes it produces something like this Coca-Cola commercial.
$7.99 each.
Jesus. I don't care. It's fast enough for me. I don't give, I give a shit. This is horrible. Is this the same video?
I love that Coke went and released whatever this thing is, and yet they still won't sponsor me. Anyway, in the energy drink space, many brands are trying to take a more scientific approach to fueling gamers. Brands claiming to give you exactly what your body needs to keep button mashing all through the night. These drink solutions come in all kinds of forms. Drinks, powders, even inhalers. And they come packaged with all sorts of embarrassing names like anime girl thigh, guacamole gamer fart, titty milk.
It tastes like titty milk.
I am severely concerned for Santi's mental health in this role. But for all the borderline branding, how much is hype? How much is actually performance? Do these drinks really do what they're advertising themselves as doing? Do they really help gamers get good? Today we bust out our science hats, look under the hood, and find out which of these will reign supreme as the leadest of hacksaws. Now if you're like me going into this episode, you probably assume that there's no major difference between your average can of Red Bull and G Fuel. But that's not actually the case. Sure, most gamer drinks these days do have plenty of caffeine, borderline illegal amounts of it, as well as a bunch of vitamins, but they typically all have some sort of additional ingredients ranging from more amino acids and electrolytes to herbal extracts. All of these things are usually lumped together under the label of dietary ingredients on the can. That's right, these aren't just energy drinks anymore, they're dietary supplements. Sounds like it should make them healthy, right? Well, not really. According to the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, all a drink or food needs to have is some vitamin, mineral, or herb thrown in and listed on the nutrition facts to qualify as a dietary supplement. In other words, the bar is set pretty darn low. Gin, you know, alcohol, that could very well be labeled as a dietary supplement too, considering it's made with a bunch of botanicals. So that doesn't suddenly make it part of a balanced breakfast. What's worse, the FDA doesn't regulate these ingredients like they do with drugs, so the efficacy of the dietary supplements isn't something that's given a stamp of approval. The reason I'm pointing all this out is that people tend to get fooled by all the sciencey names, automatically assuming that it means there's extra goodness jammed into the can, but that's just not true. Plenty of these brands seem to just throw different things at the wall hoping that something sticks, making things worse. Even if an ingredient could be beneficial in some way, oftentimes the amounts are just wildly different from brand to brand, sometimes staying so low that they're still practically useless. So as we go through the tests today, it's important to take some of this data with a grain of salt, since hard information on some of the effectiveness levels of these things just doesn't exist yet. But putting how effective they are or aren't aside, we're going to judge them by whether enough of the ingredients in question have been added into the formulation. Now, a few weeks ago on GT Live, we took our list of 16 of the most popular gamer-focused energy drinks, and we judged them purely based on their taste. And let's just say it was a wild and largely unpleasant ride.
Have you ever wondered what artificial flavors taste like?
Oh no!
Oh, regret.
Oh, this is kind of like a stale bubblegum that I really have to work to get the flavor out of. Maybe I unwrap a cool comic out of it with Bazooka Joe doing something mildly amusing.
And then you chew it like 5 times and the flavor goes away and you're left with like a very chemically, this is what they like flavor. This is that.
Yeah, this is the Bazooka Joe bubblegum flavor of gamer powdered. That is to narrow the field down from 16 to 10. The group landed on a selection of Mountain Dews, the OG Mountain Dew soda, as well as their strawberry melon and Baja Blast flavored energy drinks, 3 G Fuels, 2 powdered, blue raspberry cherry, and 1 canned snow cone, Ultimate Edition Coke and Coke Zero, then a few outlier contenders like Rogue Tropical Breeze and Snake Grape. G Fuel explicitly markets itself as the best gaming and esports energy drink, so obviously we wanted to give that one a test. Ultimate Edition Coke was a special flavor made in conjunction with Riot Games, the studio behind League of Legends, and was therefore meant to taste like gaining experience points, which, judging from the flavor, meant that leveling up tastes like bananas? I love that all of them. You didn't see all 3, but you did it, I did it. We all had the like curious all at the exact same time. Every single one of them. It's that. Sneak energy drinks like to lean heavily into gaming through social media posts, like what can you say in COD that would also make sense on a date, or the 9 best games in history.
No, why did you? That would have been so fucking good. That would have been so fast.
Thanks to its higher caffeine content than most sodas,
Oh my god.
go-to choice for gamers trying to pull all
I was so fast,
and I do mean
and I
the
threw it.
early days. In a window DOS developer log from
Jesus
1994
Christ.
found a reference to the ancient connection between programmers and Mountain Dew. Quote, fortunately, Windows handles this error gracefully, figuring that the programmer is simply overdosing on Mountain Dew and ignoring requests for non-existent modules. So as we start picking them apart, what do all these energy drinks have in common? Well, caffeine, obviously. And while we're all familiar with caffeine, most people have a fundamental misunderstanding of how it actually works in our body. See, our brains are full of things called adenosine receptors. These receptors act to alert your brain that it's time for rest, regulating and slowing the electric pulses that are going to your heart. What caffeine does is block those receptors. By blocking the receptors, your brain suddenly feels more awake because it's lacking the signals that are actively telling it to go to sleep. In other words, caffeine isn't working because it's giving us a boost, it's working because it's preventing us from feeling tired. Kind of like a zombie. They're not alive, they're just not capable of feeling dead. But here's the rub to all this. While caffeine blocks the adenosine receptors temporarily, it doesn't stop the adenosine production. Once that caffeine wears off, the receptors get flooded with all that adenosine buildup, causing the post-energy drink crash. Of course, you can always keep your caffeine intake going to keep blocking the receptors, but like with any drug, your body is going to slowly build up a tolerance. And that tolerance might create some issues. You see, in addition to blocking adenosine receptors, caffeine also causes your arteries to contract. This in turn forces the heart to push itself harder to get...
Another time.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. I forgot what the rest of the lyrics. Hey. Hey. Fuck. Double fuck. Oh my fucking god. Why'd you slow down? Oh my god, dude. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god.
caffeine levels in
I
your
was
blood
muted,
vessels
but-
expand again, your body doesn't get that memo right away.
I
So
was
it
muted.
continues to force all the extra blood up there, which sets off all sorts of alarms to the nerves in your brain, making you feel like your head's about to pop like a zit. But caffeine isn't the only chemical shared across most of these gamer drinks. There's also taurine. Taurine is a naturally produced amino acid that the body uses for energy production. So it's thought that adding more taurine to your system might actually increase your overall energy levels. Early tests with mice have supported this, showing that taurine combined with caffeine helps combat sleep deprivation more than just caffeine alone. How much that actually works for humans is still up for debate, but overall the working philosophy is that caffeine helps stave off your natural exhaustion, while taurine helps your body create new energy. So at this point, how are our candidates looking? We want some caffeine, but hopefully a low enough dose to avoid the shakes. We also want taurine in there to help
Holy
generate some long-term energy. So let's just start off with the obvious loser, OG Mountain Dew. Sure, Mountain Dew's been associated with gamers forever, and it technically won our taste test, mostly because of the 46 grams of sugar pumped into those 12 ounces of liquid. But overall, Mountain Dew doesn't do a whole lot in terms of energy
this will be
beyond
my
the
last
54
turn.
milligrams of caffeine in
Maybe.
there. Oh, and while we're at it, might save this one for an episode down the line, but sugar, yeah, that actually doesn't give you energy. At least not the energy that you're thinking of, bouncing off the walls and making you all hyperactive. That's a myth that's been debunked dozens of times over. In fact, if anything, sugar just makes you crash harder at the other end without getting you any sort of boost to compensate. In general, all the sugar in the Mountain Dew might actually help you lose focus and alertness, which is the exact opposite of what we want out of our ideal gamer drink. Ultimate Coke and Coke Zero, you weird banana-flavored sodas, they also fall into the same camp, and so we're also eliminating them right now from the race. So how then do we differentiate the rest of the pack? Well, the key difference between an energy drink and a gamer energy drink are the vitamin complexes and amino acids that are mixed into the formula. Usually you'll find that gamer drinks are jammed with ingredients said to boost memory and brain function, specifically the B vitamins and L-tyrosine. That one is an amino acid that can improve memory, thinking skills, and overall mental performance under stressful conditions. Exactly what you need when you're trying to make it through a game with Ash silently judging you just off camera. I see your eyes on me, Ash. I feel your icy stare. It will not please me. The other component that a lot of these
Alright,
try to
last
work in
attempt.
is choline.
Last fucking attempt.
Another time.
Alright. That was a good time. Yeah. Please.
Intrusion detected.
Didn't get it.
Ah, well.
Didn't get it.